The Breakup is a mature podcast for mature audiences. Leave your dick jokes at the door.
You got full sass mouth now that I've tricked you.
I'm very sassy today. Oh.
That's good.
Just wait till you see what
I know. I'm excited.
Uh-huh.
I'm titillated. I took a Cialis before we got on.
Oh, that was the strangest laugh I've ever made. Well,
you sure you haven't been drinking before we fucking did this?
I'm high on life.
I
guess welcome to The Breakup, the podcast about destroying the things you love by giving them away.
Yeah.
I guess okay, I guess we're on.
All right.
Oh God. This is going to be a rough one. This is going to be rough.
All right, Sam, I want you to take my hand here. All right. It's
okay.
Take it? Okay. This is going to be our foundation stone or whatever. This is going to be the big one.
Upon this church, I will build my rock.
Look upon our works and despair. You're not feeling it. You gotta feel the power.
I just feel like your pulse is really thready.
Yeah, I've been having some trouble sleeping.
I don't know why I laughed at that. I do not know. Forever and a day, I do not know why I laugh at your misfortune.
You will laugh at anything I say. So I guess we should get into the meat of things. If you're feeling excited, you're feeling pumped up. Do you want to go first then?
No, you go first. I think we're going to maintain the order that we do these things. We're not going to break convention just because there's some stuff we need to talk about later on. So you're going to go first, you know. So Jacob.
So Jacob, what?
I realized that you were supposed to say the thing you're supposed to say.
Yeah, Sam, what did you make me read?
I made you read the webcomic False Positive.
Yeah, you sure
Now you
did.
will give me a comedic summary of said thing.
Okay, you're joking about that. I didn't write one for False Positive.
Uh-oh.
I couldn't.
Interesting.
Do you want me to just ad-lib one? Just want to fucking try it?
I mean, you
Wheel
could.
and deal?
I mean, False
Positive is a comic about what I imagine to be a man who thinks they are very, very clever, and lots of sort of serial stories that sort of are vaguely attached to each other, that as False Positive progresses, get more and more interconnected and involved in their storied, macabre universe. The problem with False Positive, as it will be quick to point out, is that every single person, being, and thing is ungodly, hideously ugly. Which, for a webcomic, you would think would be problematic. False Positive owns this as part of its own surrealist mythos, and that for its terrible, disgusting, uncanny valley, piece of shit, ugly-ass art style, it is just keeping things in flavor. Its bizarre B-movie aesthetic, just part of the fantastic qualities you will find at this False Positive comic.
Wow, that was succinct. I guess I talk about why I like it now.
Yeah, why do you like it, Sam? Lay it on me.
Well, I think I've owned up to this before. I like urban horror.
Sure.
I like horror comics. In fact, I pretty much only, with the exception of Kill 6 Billion Demons now, I guess. I tend to just kind of like gothic. I guess it's okay. I'm not going to stutter. I'm trying not to stutter because this is the thing I've discovered about my recordings is that I stutter like a motherfucker. I like horror in comics because I like that aesthetic. I also like anthologies because I think my biggest problem with reading comics, and again, with the exception of Kill 6 Billion Demons. No, let me finish. With the exception of Kill 6 Billion Demons, I don't like long-term stories in comics because I always lose track of what's happening.
You have no idea just like how much I dislike the art style. Where I feel like this is a case of someone who really had a story in mind, but they weren't quite good at art.
It has multiple authors. Like it's not all the same guy.
Oh my god, that makes it so much worse.
I admit the art style is not the biggest draw, but I don't find it that bad. Like it's kind of not hyper realist, but it's sort of
Okay, Sam. I'm going to send you a link. Right, I'm going to utilize our Discord server.
Oh boy,
here,
okay.
and I'm going to send you a link to the latest page.
This is good
that
comedy
was made by
on our podcast.
Yeah. So okay, I'm going to describe this for the audience, and you're going to be looking at it as I describe it to you. So, a anthropomorphic fox wearing a hoodie and jeans.
Oh no, I looked at this today.
is sort of standing up and chatting it up with what seems to be a GIMP astronaut, after the GIMP astronaut has interrupted him playing what is obviously Dark Souls
There's
1.
nothing wrong with this art style. You're nuts. There's nothing wrong with it. Like,
okay.
Maybe it's a little... I mean, I guess you could make the complaint that it's a little bit bland, but I've seen lots in this comic that's plenty interesting
let's
to me.
look at a picture.
We are not doing visual descriptions of comics in our podcast. That is literally the death of audio media.
My point is, the aesthetic isn't good.
Mm-hmm.
Just, it isn't. The monsters are all B-movie, C-movie, Schlockfest 9000s, which are good for, terrible sort of like... You're actually supposed to be kind of laughing at this.
Am I? Oh, really? Is I supposed to find this funny? Okay.
But
Make me laugh, clown.
For a comic that pretends at being serious fucking shit, it does a terrible job of it.
You're wrong. You're so wrong. See,
my God.
Okay. This is so. Okay. Well, let's pull back the curtain a little bit. Like, you and I like World of Darkness stuff. This is like bread and butter World of Darkness stuff.
No, this is like bread and butter World of Darkness stuff. If World of Darkness was only the core World of Darkness book, and the GM had a fucking hard on for aliens. Just aliens.
Okay, Mr. I like werewolf the best. What about the one where I think she's like a psychiatrist and she's talking to the girl behind the glass wall, and it's basically like a horrifying spirit from the shadow.
Really horrifying spirit with like a fucking 1,000 tentacle dicks and like eyes and teeth gnashing. It's so deco cookie cutter that I could have like woken up and thought, holy shit, have I just been watching a 97 like fucking sci-fi movie direct-to-TV special?
See, this one's going to be really hard for me to defend because I actually think this is going to come down to my taste is a bit different from your taste in this regard, which is not me giving up. I know, which is not me giving up. I'm just saying that I think this is going to be kind of hard to argue.
It's almost like fucking our tastes are actually secretly really different. Now, you mentioned that story, and I will agree with you. It's one of the better stories.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. You heard it here first, folks.
Oh, someone's mad today.
You don't know how mad I am.
it was a good sort of story in that I didn't fall asleep.
That's the problem with an anthology series, is that there's always going to be, like, it's hit and miss. Either you're going to like it, it's, the X-Files or the Twilight Zone. You're going to like this episode or you're not going to like this episode.
So you're admitting you like the idea of false positive.
No, I like most of the story. I mean, I haven't actually read it in a little while, so I'm not...
Oh! Oh, you haven't read it in a while.
I caught up. I did catch up a bit.
What made you stop reading it for a while? Let me guess. Like, one or two of the stories weren't really doing it for you.
No, it's literally that...
I'm going to do something else for a little bit.
Let me tell you why I stopped. It's because that I am terrible at experiencing media, and sometimes I just forget things exist, and then it's like, oh, I go off in my own little Sam world, and that's it. And I will never be heard from again. And then, then I make my best friend listen to it on my podcast. So mad you tricked me. I'm so mad you tricked me.
I knew it. I knew you'd be mad about this trick. All right,
You
let's
should
get.
probably provide some context for that.
So before we recorded, enemy of the podcast.
Enemy of half the podcast and nothing else.
Yeah, Jesse Howell. Now I guess we can't say that anymore because now he is.
No, he's enemy to both he's to both sides of the podcast now. He is on my shit list.
Me and him were playing a rousing game of Kingdom Death Monster, which I feel we're going to talk about at some point on this podcast.
Oh yeah, it's inevitable.
And he mentioned that you talked to him about what you were watching. And I said, "Oh, how much detail did Sam go into?" Because, we have a rule about that.
Yeah, we do.
We have the rules. And as being the enemy of the podcast and nothing more, he refused to comment. So as soon as the both of us do our sort of like, prep ups.
Our calisthenics of comedy.
I let Sam know that Jesse was a narc informant.
And I said...
Sam, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Your immediate response was, "Shit, did he tell you what I felt about it?" Which goes well beyond your squealing allowances, Samuel.
Yeah, because I forgot what the rules were that you made up on the first episode.
I'm going to be generous. Oh, pathetic knave.
Oh, Lord Jacob, please see mercy upon me and your dark soul.
Oh, heavens to Betsy.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
why is this called in the Midwest, eh? Well, your squid tentacles, they're just gonna freeze off in the snow there. People wonder why Steve Buscemi is in that, in Fargo, and it's because he's got the Innsmouth look.
Yeah, he really does, doesn't he? He looks ready for,
Fish fucking, is that
No, I wasn't gonna be a dick to... I love Steve Buscemi.
I love Steve Buscemi too. Now I'm sad and I should have said that. I'm sorry, Steve Buscemi. I know you're listening. I know you're a big fan.
Friend idol of the podcast, Steve Buscemi, if you're listening to this... What were we talking about? Oh, right. You're going to be punished
I'm a dirty
next
cheater.
podcast. Next podcast, your cheating will go on. It'll be rectified.
This isn't fair. There's no one to squeal on you.
It's almost like that was the plan. So we're at the 20-minute mark.
No, we're technically not because we started this earlier. Like we were recording for a while.
Off. Fine. All right.
I don't know why we're beholden to rules, man.
I swear to God, if you start becoming a libertarian because of this shit, I will break you.
I'll break me too, honestly. I'll come back from the past to break me.
We
hate libertarians on this podcast. Get over it.
I have nothing else to say about false positive. I really don't like the style you do.
Okay.
I attest that I think for what it is on paper, it should be good, and I just don't like it.
Okay. Fuck you.
Sometimes, yeah, okay, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Final verdict. I'm gonna give false positive about... It's not the worst thing you sent me.
I think we still have a high bar to clear after Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, I think we're gonna give it a 0.35 thumbs up. If my outrageous description of false positive makes you want to read it, you'll probably love it.
Cool.
So what did I make you watch, shithead?
No, I asked you that question. What did you make me watch this week, Jacob? You son of a bitch.
I made you watch part 2 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. JoJo!
This week, in a huge twist, I have written a summary for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
All right, lay it on me.
Okay. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is an NBC sitcom starring confirmed heterosexual and aspiring cage dancer Tom Cruise as he searches for love and laughs at Ha Monster A Go-Go, the grooviest dance club in Venice Beach. Along the way, he's joined by best friend Paul Caesar Romero McCartney and his own hot mom as they face off against the necromantically resurrected original lineup of Leonard Skinner in several dazzling go-go dance-offs. Tom, who folks affectionately call JoJo after his adorable mispronunciation of the word GIF, must learn the true power of dance as he masters the forbidden red stone of Asia, a lambada variation of some sort, or so I'm led to believe. All to the rad power chords of Asia, coincidentally enough. Don't miss this family-friendly romp TGI Fridays at 7 on ABNBNCA CNN. As Tom would say, to be continued.
Was that supposed to be a joke? Because he basically nailed it in one. That's basically it. That's basically the show. I mean, I think you're trying to get under my skin here, but
Why do you like this piece of shit?
Jeez, I think much like False Positive, I'm not sure there's...
Defend yourself, you asshole.
I like JoJo.
Wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're
whole.
incorrect. Let me tell you why.
I like the weird, comedic, stupid shit that a lot of the characters get up to. I love the English. The English is just sublime. I think a lot of the, not particularly the part I gave to you, but later on, a lot of the powers that main characters use and have to fight against are range from like, oh, that's really cool, to, oh, that's actually really horrifying. The villains are, yeah, some of them are really good depending on the part, some of them are really bad depending on the part. You fought against, in part 2, there is legendary Leonard Skinner fan, Cars. I will say, I thought you would at least appreciate literally all of the musical references.
Let me get to that. So this show comes to me and has the promise of that it will have vampire antagonists, and I like vampires. I like vampires a lot. And then the second episode, the vampire dies. And what we instead get are weird meat monsters that are dug out of pillars. And you know, I was going to say that this show is homoerotic, which I don't have a problem with, but actually this show, collectively taken, whatever it is, its sexuality is wrong. It's the only wrong sexuality. I don't know what it is, but it's wrong.
What am I supposed to react to that? Explain yourself, fucker.
I fucking hate the anime trope of I'm going to explain the thing that I'm about to do for about, a good half minute, and then I'm going to do it. And then the other guy's going to be like, but I knew that you knew that I know that you know that I was going to do that. So I'm going to do this instead. And then the protagonist is like, oh, look, but actually, I feigned my ignorance, and now I'm actually doing this. And then the other guy goes like, oh, but see, I had this other technique. He said the word technique, take a drink. I had this other technique that you didn't know about, and it actually plays upon the bizarre laws of physics in this stupid show.
So, okay, I'm going to break this down bit by bit there, because you went on a lot there. Meat monsters. So, you know, a better villain than what you would find in False Positive, just objectively.
Oh, fuck.
2.
Fuck you. Those, okay. You know what's funny? At first, I was kind of like, Santana was kind of cool because I'm kind of into body horror stuff.
Yeah.
And then they never did anything with that ever again.
Yeah, that was a real shame, wasn't it?
And let me tell you about part of why I really dislike this show.
Okay.
Is the very first episode, there is literally a cop who takes a big chunk of snot and pushes it onto the protagonist's face. And I thought to myself, oh, I see. This show hates me. So I don't have to like it.
Let me get this straight. Just for the record, on the mic, you don't like JoJo because there's a booger in it.
No, there's a lot more reasons than that.
No. That's deflection.
that helped. It just certainly helped it along. It has a style of animation or a style of art that I really dislike in anime.
Oh wow! So you prefer False Positive over?
I do actually, as a matter of
fact. I hate you. I officially hate you now. Like you would look at fucking Candyman, like wormy McSlimey pants, but like weird psychedelic backgrounds and like constantly changing.
No, it's not. Make no mistake, it's not the psychedelic backgrounds. Psychedelic backgrounds are fine. It's the grotesque human beings that I am expected to empathize with.
Why would you empathize with anyone on this show? It's an anime.
The show really wants you to. Like, every fucking time he kills someone, it's kind of like, oh,
JoJo wants to fuck his hot mom. There's nothing to empathize.
Oh, the fucking incest. Okay, or sorry, the implications of fucking incest. That was a delight.
Why would you ever like this person?
No, because the show wants you to. Because every time that he like kills, he fucking murders someone. He's always like, but in the end, I see you are a truly honorable warrior, even though you're a psychopathic monster who wants to murder humanity. Truly, I see that I could see where you were coming from. Also, there are fucking Nazis that it wants you to empathize with. It fucking has a Nazi in it, and the Nazi keeps being treated as some sort of honorable dude because he's a fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
He's a cyborg Nazi, which was pretty rad, and that was like, I'll give it that. That's kind of rad. But still, he was a Nazi.
Well, I mean, how could you not love Nazis?
How could you not? I blame this show for the alt-right.
Wow.
Okay, to actually be serious for a moment, I know we're having fun here, folks. You know what I actually really didn't like about it is that it calls itself JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I found it to be the blandest thing I've ever seen in my life. Tediously boring, so much exposition. It's like, oh, there's sort of a goofy aesthetic and it's kind of cool and quirky, but it's really not. It's just annoying. And then if you actually look at what the plot is, it's really boring.
Part of this has to do with the fact that what you were watching was written in, I think, like 86, 87?
And one would think if you're going to adapt an anime in 2012, maybe you could update the plot a little bit.
If I said to you, hey Sam, I'm going to remake Mulholland Drive into a delightful rom-com, you would, I think, try and categorize me. You would get a hot knife and you'd go straight for my balls.
Cauterize. I'd try to cauterize you.
Whatever.
I was like, categorize. I turned Jacob into a cat.
Yeah.
Meow. See? Meow. I like stupid animes.
Oh, motherfucker. Like,
this one's getting really personal.
Listen, shithead, my point is that if I was going to remake Mulholland Drive into whatever the fuck I thought was good at the time, you'd get really mad, wouldn't you?
I made a drinking game.
Answer the fucking question!
I guess. I don't even know what you said. I made a drinking game. The drinking game goes like this. Whenever someone says technique, take a drink. Yeah. Whenever there is male gaze, i.e. butts, take a drink. Whenever it's super gross, take a drink. Whenever when someone shouts someone's name over and over and over, and then again for good measure, take a drink. And then when the narrator appears, after not appearing in the show at all for like 10 episodes, finish your drink.
What about Caesar's death? What do you gotta tell me about that?
Oh,
that he gets crushed by a cross.
Yeah, that was.
There
are
he
moments.
Literally
There
dies
are
by...
that, and that's what truly disgusted me. There are little moments where I'm like, this thing is almost as audacious as it thinks it is, and pushes that limit of being goofy and outrageous. And that was one of those moments. And then it's just like, oh, okay, and then it's not.
For once in your pathetic life, Sam Young, you're taking this alarmingly at face value, which I find incredible to me.
No,
you're like,
that's the thing.
Why was the plot so confusing?
No,
I didn't like any
plot
of the
is not
characters.
confusing. The plot is not the least bit confusing. It's painfully obvious. Like, there's only so many times I can watch this, like, pseudo Sherlock Holmes shit where he's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna solve the problem by like taking a flask and splitting it in half, and somehow that beats the villain. Like, at a certain point, it's like, okay, this is about to happen. Yep, this is about to happen. Oh, yep, that thing that I expected to happen happened. Like, it's not complicated. And I kept searching, like, is it making fun of something? And I don't know what it is. Or is it supposed to just be goofy on its own? I don't like that then. I don't care. I didn't find any of it interesting.
So you don't like things that are goofy on their own, but if they're weird or like strange on their own, you're like, oh my god, I gotta check off to this.
You got so loud there that your phone cut off. No, I like goofy things. It's just I didn't like this particular brand of it. I really hated JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I noticed. Like, you
really fucking hated it.
I give you the ones you love or the ones you just despise. I don't give you anything weak.
Well, no, the first episode was sort of a mixed bag, but we don't talk about the first episode.
You mean the 0th episode?
The 0th, yes, thank you, the 0th episode.
Why do you keep referring to it as number 1?
Because I deeply regret starting with 0 because I keep forgetting where we are. Oh man, I really disliked it. And it's not like, okay, I didn't hate it as much as you hated like Mulholland Drive, but I definitely didn't like it. Like, I actively didn't like it, which is rare for me.
The funny thing is, like, If you had watched that entire season, like the entire sort of series or season that started with part one, you would have, I think, shot yourself by like episode 12. Because if you think that part two is like this plot is so boring and tedious, Jesus, part one is so by the book, it fucking hurts. It hurts me. But I like the goofy fucking villains in
It
two.
wasn't goofy enough. It wasn't goofy and bizarre enough. It was
What the?
just sort of.
You did not fucking just drop your jaw at Cars laughing hysterically?
Yeah, what, it's doing a villain laugh. It's kind of recorded a little.
That's the
goofy.
king of all villain laughs. That's the one
I did kind of like it when I did like it when AC/DC started crying for no reason. That was kind of funny.
That is also really good.
I just was like, this show really wants me to be grossed out, but like in that way that it wants you to think that's cool, but it's not.
Well, it's more like they think the parts that are grossing you out are hilarious. It has the internal writing humor of like a 9-year-old. And I wish I could say to you, it gets better if you invest time into it, but probably not enough for you.
I did kind of have fun trying to identify what all the musical. So there's okay. So one thing I will say, you know what I fucking loved in JoJo's fucking Bizarre Adventure? You know what I absolutely adored, and it's been running through my head for like all week.
Play it on me.
That fucking Yes song that they play at the end of every episode is a fucking amazing song.
I know.
I love that song.
I wish I could hug you right now.
Peace in our time.
Because despite all the bullshit you've been laying on this amazing anime, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has single-handedly, by virtue of its music choices, has expanded my musical horizons like 10 fucking fold.
I love that song. I love that song. And I actually kind of love the end credits, which made me hate the show more because I was like, these are such awesome end credits and such an awesome song, and it just does not live up to that.
And it only gets better! I swear to fucking God, like, there's Paul Menthe, there's Walk Like an Egyptian, there's Savage Garden, it just gets better and better and better!
And this compilation CD can be yours. Just send $10 to Jacob.
Fucking give it to me! I'll print out all of the shit! All the JoJo music! It's yours! Also, what about that fucking soundtrack in the actual show?
Yeah, the music was decent. Yeah, it was.
The music was incredible! Fuck!
Listeners, go download wherever music is available. Roundabout by Yes. It is a fucking rad song.
In fact, just the entire album Fragile by Yes will do well by you. Just the whole fucking thing.
You know what really interests me? That you really are into progressive rock? This is another thing where I'm like, really? Wow, I wouldn't have thought so. Because it's not because of anything about you, but just because progressive rock is so deeply pretentious. And of course, I love it. So I don't quite rock how you like it.
Prog rock is pretentious if you're like, oh, that's the meaning of the song, and like, that's what's supposed to tell you. If you treat it like Mulholland Drive, yeah, it's incredibly pretentious. But if your general sort of modus operandi for listening to music or fucking anything good is just like, oh, I'm just going to listen to it and not really think too much about it, then prog rock, yeah.
So you're saying you have to experience it, man.
Well, since you couldn't fucking do that with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I don't think you're one to judge.
Just let it wash over you.
Yeah, just let it caress you delicately, like your 6 to 12 pack abs that you have, Sam. Because all men have that. So eventually, I'm going to get you to read part 7 at some point.
God. I mean, I can't say no because that is the purpose of this podcast. There is no veto in this podcast.
No.
I'm saying that right now. There's no veto in this podcast, Jacob. I'm establishing that rule right now.
Okay. There's no veto. The fact that we keep adding rules is probably confusing for...
It's kind of problematic.
Yeah. We gotta write up a coda for this shit.
The rules only exist in the 0th episode, so I think people might be pretty confused what's going on right now.
I thought the idea was that by the time we ever actually release this, that we would have written out on the bottom the rules.
Grab a cocktail napkin and scrawl it out and just pin it onto each podcast.
So at least you liked the Yes song.
Fucking love the Yes song.
It's so good.
So I have to say this. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure gets the last laugh because I fucking added that song to my playlist. Like, it's fantastic.
That is basically it, is JoJo will always get the last laugh.
Okay.
What was the common theme?
Disgusting.
Yeah, I'll accept that. Disgust.
Total
That's
disgust.
Good. Disgust. Sweet.
Sweet, sweet disgust.
What the fuck are you gonna make me watch next week?
Fuck. Okay. Next week, Jacob, you will be watching beloved Canadian miniseries Slings and Arrows.
Wow.
The first season.
Something Canadian made.
Canadian content. We got to get that in the podcast.
Wouldn't it be easier just to scrape my eyes out now?
I think it is very funny. I have no idea what you will think of it, but that is the point. What will I be watching or viewing or listening to next week?
So, after this, I have no idea what you're going to think about my suggestion.
Okay.
Sam, you will be watching the 2003 thriller mystery, Korean thriller mystery, Old Boy.
Oh. Does it count if I know the twist of Old Boy?
Fuck!
But I've never seen it, so.
Okay, if you know the twist,
I've not experienced it.
It's more than what you think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you know the twist on paper, you don't know enough.
Okay, that's fine.
All right,
well,
Sam. It's been not a pleasure.
This is the best episode we've done yet. We would like to thank Irritating Rainbow for our theme song, You Broke It, from the album Where'd the Truck Go? You can find that on iTunes. I guess the only thing left to say is to be continued.
No, turn it off. Turn it off. No, stop it. No! No!